What's going on, YouTube? You got your favorite female cargo van on a rock, trucking with Kayla. So, as y'all can see from the title, cargo van, we could just say cargo van versus CDL or truck drivers or whatever. So, I'm going to compare the two because, as y'all know, I had my CDL for 2 years. And now I'm in the cargo van business, and I get the same questions. Why semi trucks over cargo vans? Why not get a box truck or whatever? So from my 2 months, well, it's been a month and a half, but my 7 months of doing research, 1 month and a half of actually driving, I'm gonna compare the reasons on why I got into the cargo van business instead of find your owner op company, for semi trucks, or get your own truck, get your own authority, and go from there. So the number one would be the startup. So when I was looking into the semi trucks, being an owner op, when you go to these companies, these trucks, you literally signing contracts for 2 to 3 years over the road. That's just what I seen. Yes, there's more options out there, but from what I seen and the research I did, I'm like, I don't want to be stuck in no company 2 to 3 years. You in this contract, you're in this lease because you're leasing these vehicles until you own them, or you working and paying them off every week until you own them. Compared to a cargo van, you could get a cargo van from anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000. Compared to a semi truck gonna start out at $50,000. So the cost of the vehicle, cargo van, is just more affordable. Let me see. Two, as y'all know, in the semi truck, you have the HOS, the hours of service. The 14 hours a day, you can only drive 11 hours. When it comes to the cargo van, you don't have hours of service. If you want to drive 24 hours, you can drive 24 hours if you want. And that's one thing that I like, because in semi trucks, you limit it. Even when you up, you still want to drive. But if you get caught driving, that's your butt. So truck comparison, hours of service, just getting around. From CDL, I came from being a company driver, so only being able to go 65 miles per hour. You being heavy, you can't weave, get in and out of traffic. This cargo van, literally getting in and out of traffic. We try not to go over like 75. So it's literally just still a difference between just driving a semi truck and a cargo van. It's so much easier to maneuver a cargo van. When it comes to backing, y'all know how it is back in a semi truck. Like, you could go, you get on your first try, or you can be all day, or you could be getting cussed out. It just depends on how the setup is, how much room, how many people there. Cargo van, bruh, back in this baby, and we actually go to the ramps. Probably never knew what it was, because actually when I was in having my CD, I never seen a cargo van get loaded. That's the crazy part. Like, I used to always see the ramps, but I never seen a cargo van get loaded. That's actually crazy. So, but those ramps are literally for the cargo van. Open your doors, back right into it. So let me see, them basically my main reasons. Like, the overhead costs just so much cheaper than trying to get into the semi. Then if you can't buy your truck and you on a lease, you all know you lease onto these companies, you in these contracts for 2 to 3 years. So, of course, semi. I want to say you make more money. I want to say it all balance out, but sometimes I feel like it's all balanced out. Cause say semi truck, you make $5,000, but your truck no $1,100. It take about 4, 5, 6, $700 to fill up. This business, just say you make 3,000. Your truck no probably like $400 to $800. Like, fill ups only $50. So I just feel like it's whatever you want to do. Y'all know how I feel when it comes to, like, my opinion. I always tell people, do what fits your life. And at that time, what fit my life was literally getting into the cargo van business. I'm trying to think what else that compare on why I chose instead of going the semi route. Um, even though I have my CDL, but that's another cool thing. If you was looking to, should I go get my CDL and be on a rob, or compared to a cargo van, you don't need any special certificates. You don't need any special license. You don't need any special training. You don't need anything. You all you need is a valid driver license. So compared to your CDL, you gotta go to school. Was anywhere, at least in Ohio, trucking school was what 53 for me. So, other states is more, sometimes less, but you got to do that. Then you got to do 5 weeks of school. I would recommend going to a company off rip than being on the road, but whatever fits your boat, but go to a company, get experience. When you get in a cargo van business, you ain't got to go to a company. You ain't got to get no experience. Like it ain't nothing too crazy to it. Um, Let me see. Loading. Another thing that I love compared to the semi truck, semi trucks, you got these 53-foot trailers. Y'all know how long you be at these warehouses. Sometimes you get detention for a whole day. Sometimes you back into a dock and don't get loaded until hours later. Sometimes the next day, like the cargo van. We did wait one time. Well, I think it was in Texas, El Paso, Texas, and the freight was still in Mexico. It was on the border. So I think we did sit for 4 hours detention. But besides that, bruh, you see how big it is. We got the extended, so it fit up to 3 pallets. So when I say loading, be 1 second, and most of the time we actually, this is our first time. Our last load that we just dropped off today was actually 3 pallets. We normally have a box, 1 pallet, 2 pallets. So when I say you get loaded pretty quick, you get unloaded soon as you check in. They get that forklift and you getting loaded and unloaded. Compared to a semi, anybody know you gotta have patience. You ain't just about to be in and out. Let me see if I can find one more. I talked about the overhead costs, the hours of service, the back end, the parking. We could even talk about parking. Not backing into docks, but parking. Y'all know how it is when you driving them semi trucks. It don't matter if you start in the morning and go to the truck stop. It ain't no parking. And please don't try to shut down that night. Y'all know how it is. You see semi trucks on the highway all the time, parking illegal all the time. When it comes to these cargo vans, bro, you literally pull into a parking spot at a Love's, a Pilot's. It's a regular vehicle. Like, yes, it's a little bigger, but parking. We never had to worry about parking. Never. Like, we ain't never had to pay. We ain't never had to go to a place, go somewhere else. So parking is like a win-win. Yeah, like I don't know. Is one the only thing that I like more about a semi truck than a cargo van is loads pay more, but you're carrying more. That's why I said at the end of the day, it all gonna like balance out. But and what idle? Well, yeah, running it. We idling though. When you're on a ride, you just cut your own. You running your own fuel. So yeah, well, I ain't talking about company. I'm talking about the difference between. Look at you, all in one. Yeah, I'm saying the difference between a cargo van owner up and semi truck owner up. Yeah. So, but yeah, you can idle either or, so that don't matter. That's what we doing right now, running the AC. So yeah, when you're a company driver, they cut that off for you. But I think that's it. So those are the reasons that so far that I love compared to the semi truck. The only thing that I like, the only thing, money in the sleeping arrangements. As y'all can see, y'all see the sleeping arrangements, but I just love, I came from the sleeper. Like it's just way better. Like yeah, we comfortable. We got the mattress, we got the memory foam. We got everything that we need to, survive and be as comfortable as we can, while we on this road. But everybody know it's sleeper better. Well, it is two of us, so that would be bad because we'll be in a twin. So I like, we got a full so we can sleep together. Wink, wink. But literally, like, I do miss the sleeper. It's so more comfortable. Get the shutdown, go to the sleeper. You got the TV, you got the inverters. You do have, I feel like, more access in a semi truck compared to a cargo van, but we can still deck it out. I see so many vans that deck their stuff out. We just try to get to this money right now, but just off rip, those is the only two things that I would want to go to the semi for more money and the sleeping arrangements. But other than that, I'm sorry that I'm switching up on y'all, but this cargo van is game is just so much, easier moving around. The overhead cost, the startup, like everything is just, just I ain't really say like super easy, but I feel like it's a little bit more easier to start a cargo van business, to build a fleet compared to, trucks. Because if I knew about this business 2 years before I got my CDL, graduated, I I I ain't had to pay all that money. Well, my grandma paid for me to go to CDL school, but I'm just saying I want paid all that money. I want winter night transportation. I want one over the road. I want sacrifice making 47 cents. I would have got me a cargo van and kept it pushing, because this is literally, once you get loads and everything, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it's pretty easy. Definitely, if you in the transportation business, you go check in, pick up, drop it off. It's the same thing. It's just, expedited. Things that need to get moved quick, because semi trucks got hours of service and all that stuff. But that's my comparison. So make sure you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you cut your alerts on. I'm gonna try to drop videos on Mondays and Wednesdays. But y'all already know, like, subscribe, cut your alerts on. Trucking with Kayla is out.